You have been told that to build a great business, you must listen to your customers, that you must give them what they want. You've been taught that this is the most fundamental, most sacred rule of commerce. But I have spent my life studying the great paradoxes of business. And I can tell you that in a world of rapid technological change, listening to your best, most profitable customers is not a path to success. It is, more often than not, a path to catastrophic failure. This is the story of the innovator's dilemma, a brilliant and brutal theory from the late Professor Clayton Christensen. Most people hear this and think, that makes no sense. A company succeeds by serving its customers. They see this as a dangerous and counterintuitive idea. But you are not most people. You are a student of worldly wisdom. And you must see that Christensen's theory is a profound insight into a fundamental flaw in the human mind and in the structure of most successful organizations. It is a story that proves that the very same forces that bring a company to the pinnacle of its industry, its core competencies, its focus on its best customers, its pursuit of higher profits can, in the face of disruptive innovation, become the very anchors that drag it to the bottom. It is a tragedy born from a lethal combination of a flawed incentive system, the pervasive human weakness of short-termism, and the blinding loyalty to a customer base that no longer serves your long-term interests. It is a cautionary tale that holds the key to understanding why even the most dominant empires can be undone by a technology that, on the surface, seems laughably inferior. You have been told that a great company must be innovative, but I believe there are two fundamentally different types of innovation, and confusing them is a path to certain failure. First, there is sustaining innovation. This is the innovation we all recognize. It's about making a good product better for your existing most profitable customers. A faster chip, a better screen, a slightly more secure email server. It is a game of incremental, predictable improvement. And a successful company, with its world-class engineers and deep customer relationships, is an absolute master of this. Second, there is disruptive innovation. This is the innovation that no one sees coming, or more accurately, that everyone dismisses. It is a new technology that is initially worse than the existing product on the metrics that matter most to the incumbent's best customers. It is often simpler, cheaper, and initially appeals to a new low-end or niche market. This is the central genius of Christensen's theory. The first iPhone, for example, was a classic disruptive innovation. For a company like BlackBerry, the undisputed king of the corporate phone market, the first iPhone was a joke. Its battery was terrible. It had no physical keyboard. It was a security nightmare. It was, by all of BlackBerry's existing metrics, a vastly inferior product. Most people would look at this and say, BlackBerry was right. It was a flawed product. They were being rational. But you are not most people. You are a rational thinker. And you must see that BlackBerry's rationality was a profound and fatal flaw. It was operating with the sustaining innovation hammer, and it was looking at a disruptive innovation nail. It was so good at giving its best customers what they wanted today, better security, longer battery life, that it was completely blind to what the market would want tomorrow. The incentives were perfectly aligned to ensure this failure. BlackBerry's most profitable customers were telling them, give us more security. The company's sales teams were being rewarded for selling to these customers. The entire organization was a finely tuned machine, optimized to serve a world that was already beginning to disappear. This is the great and brutal paradox. The very same discipline that makes a company an absolute master of sustaining innovation makes it profoundly vulnerable to disruptive innovation. The hammer of a great company is so powerful that it can no longer see anything but nails. You have been told that a great business is a rational business, that its decisions are guided by logic, by data, and by the relentless pursuit of profit. This is the official story. But I have learned that the true God of any organization is not its mission statement, it is its incentive system. This is the great and often fatal flaw at the heart of the innovator's dilemma. A successful company with its powerful, well-aligned incentives is a finely tuned machine built to do one thing: serve its existing, most profitable customers. Most people see this as a virtue. They think, of course a business should focus on its best customers. That's just good business. But you are not most people. You are a rational thinker. And you must see that this powerful profit-driven machine is also profoundly blind. The incentive system that rewards success in the old market is also a poison that prevents success in the new. Think about a company like Kodak. Its core business, its massive profits, and its entire organizational structure were built on film. The company's engineers, executives, and salespeople were all incentivized to make better film, to sell more film, and to protect the massive, high-margin film business. This was their life. This was their identity. Then came the digital camera classic, Disruptive Innovation. The first digital cameras were terrible. The image quality was low. The files were a pain to manage. By every metric that mattered to Kodak's film-centric incentive system, the digital camera was a vastly inferior product. It was a toy. And a company built to serve its best, most profitable customers would, by all rational measures, ignore it. Why would a manager, whose bonus depends on the success of the film division, champion a new, unproven, and low-margin digital technology that would eventually cannibalize their own core business? The answer is they wouldn't. The incentive system makes it psychologically and financially impossible. The result is a catastrophic case of short-termism. The company focuses on the immediate, certain profits of its existing business while ignoring the long-term, uncertain promise of the new technology. It chooses to serve its best customers today while ensuring that it will have no customers tomorrow. This is the tyranny of the incentive system. It is a system that, in its relentless pursuit of rational, short-term returns, ensures a profound and unmitigated long-term failure. You have been told that a great business must be run with ruthless efficiency, that it must relentlessly focus on its quarterly earnings, its profit margins, and its return on capital. This is the sacred gospel of modern finance. But I have learned that this obsessive focus on the immediate, on the now, is not a path to long-term success. It is a profound and deadly poison known as short-termism. This is a great and often fatal irony at the heart of the innovator's dilemma. The very discipline that makes a company an absolute master of its current market also makes it a blind fool in the face of the future. Think about the incentives. A successful, publicly traded company is under immense pressure from its investors and analysts to deliver consistent, predictable, and ever-growing quarterly earnings. The management team's bonuses, their stock options, and their professional reputations are all tied to this ruthless cadence of short-term success. Then comes the disruptive innovation, a new technology that is low margin, has a small initial market, and has an uncertain future. A project built around this new technology would, at least for the first few years, look like a disaster on a quarterly earnings report. It would drag down the company's profit margins, disappoint its investors, and put the management team's bonuses at risk. Most people would look at this and say, the company made a rational choice. They were protecting shareholder value by focusing on their profitable core business. But you are not most people. You are a rational thinker, and you must see that the company was not making a rational choice. It was making a choice that was perfectly rational within a fundamentally flawed incentive system. It was choosing the immediate, certain reward of today over the long-term, uncertain promise of tomorrow. This is the tyranny of short-termism. It is the discipline that, in its relentless pursuit of a perfect quarterly report, systematically starves the future to feed the present. It forces a company to ignore a technology that, in 10 years, will be its core business, simply because that technology looks like a financial mistake on a spreadsheet today. The tragic end of the story is always the same. The disruptive technology, initially dismissed as a toy, gets better. It moves up the value chain. It begins to appeal to the incumbent's low-end customers, then its mid-tier customers, and eventually its most profitable customers. By the time the incumbent company, with its bloated short-term focus system, finally wakes up and realizes the threat, it is too late. The disruptive technology has become the new industry standard, and the once dominant king is now a relic. This is the ultimate brutal lesson. A company's obsessive focus on its short-term success, its love affair with the perfect quarterly report, is not a shield against disruption. It is, in fact, the most powerful and reliable weapon a disruptive innovator could ever hope for. You've been told that to build a great business, you must relentlessly focus on your most profitable customers. You must listen to them, cater to their needs, and over-deliver on their expectations. This is a virtue. This is the path to success. But I have learned that your most valuable customer, when a disruptive innovation is on the horizon, is not your greatest asset. They are your greatest prison. This is the great and cruel paradox at the heart of the innovator's dilemma. A rational, well-run company is psychologically and financially locked into a path of listening to its best customers. Think about the incentives. Your best customer is the one who is paying you the most money. They are the ones who are demanding that you make your existing high-margin product even better. They are the ones who are telling you that the new low-end technology, the technology that is simple, cheap, and appeals to a market you don't even survey as a toy. Most people will look at this and say, the customer is always right. We must serve our best customers first and foremost. But you are not most people. You are a rational thinker. And you must see that the customer, when viewed through a flawed incentive system, is not always right. They are simply rational within their own framework. They are telling you what they want today, not what they will want tomorrow. The result is a profound and often fatal case of short-termism. The company focuses all of its resources, its engineering talent, and its marketing budget on serving its most profitable customers. It systematically ignores the new low-end market because it looks like a financial mistake on a spreadsheet. Meanwhile, the disruptive innovator, unburdened by a legacy customer base, is relentlessly improving their product. The technology, initially dismissed as a toy, gets better. It moves up the value chain. It begins to appeal to the incumbent's low-end customers, then its mid-tier customers, and eventually its most profitable customers. By the time your best customer, the very customer you have been obsessively serving for years, finally says, wait a minute, this new technology is now good enough for me, it is already too late. You, with your bloated legacy system, have no answer. Your new product, if you even have one, is late to the market and has none of the advantages of the new technology. This is the ultimate brutal lesson. Your most loyal, most profitable customer is not a shield against disruption. They are the anchor that keeps you tethered to a past that no longer exists. They are the perfect tool for ensuring that you will rationally and diligently march yourself right off a cliff. You have now seen the full, painful arc of the innovator's dilemma. You've seen how even the most dominant empire, in its relentless pursuit of rational profit, can be undone by a technology that, on the surface, seems laughably inferior. Most people look at a story like Kodak's or BlackBerry's and see a simple narrative of a big company that got out-innovated. They see a single cause, a single mistake, a single moment where the company fell behind. They are stuck in a world of first-level thinking. But you are not most people. You are a rational thinker, and you must conduct the autopsy not just of a company's performance, but of a profound systems failure. You must see that the failure was a perfect, negative Lollapalooza effect, a terrifying confluence of multiple, powerful forces, all converging to create a catastrophe. Let us conduct the autopsy of a fallen giant. What was the DNA of its self-inflicted wounds? The tyranny of the incentive system. The company's entire organizational structure, its bonuses, its promotions, were all perfectly aligned to serve its existing high-margin business. This created a powerful and fatal disincentive to invest in a new, low-margin, and uncertain disruptive innovation. The poison of short-termism. The relentless pressure to deliver consistent, predictable quarterly earnings forced the company to systematically starve the future to feed the present. The long-term promise of a new technology was sacrificed for the short-term certainty of today's profits. The prison of the best customer. The company's most loyal, most profitable customers were its greatest anchor. They were telling the company, with their wallets, to make its existing product better, while the disruptive technology, initially a toy, was getting better in a new, low-end market. Psychological denial. For too long, the leadership and large segments of the company remained in a state of psychological denial, rationalizing away the threats from the new technology, believing their core business was unassailable. So, what is the ultimate Munger-esque lesson from this brutal corporate tragedy? What is the wisdom you must extract? It is this: the most dangerous enemy of a great company is not its rivals, it is its own success. The story of the innovator's dilemma is a timeless lesson that the most dangerous risks are not the ones you can see on a spreadsheet. They are the ones that are hidden in plain sight, in the flawed psychology of a company that is too in love with its own past success to recognize the forces of change. A company's obsessive focus on its short-term success, its love affair with a perfect quarterly report, is not a shield against disruption. It is, in fact, the most powerful and reliable weapon a disruptive innovator could ever hope for. But this is not just a story about a company. It's a story about you. You have now seen the full, painful story of the innovator's dilemma. You have seen how a once unbeatable giant was undone not by a sudden blow, but by a slow, agonizing, and entirely self-inflicted process. You have witnessed the insidious dangers of a flawed incentive system, the poison of short-termism, and the suffocating prison of a successful customer base. Most people will watch this and think, that's a fascinating story about a company. They will treat it as a piece of business history, an entertaining but distant tale about Kodak, about BlackBerry, about a technological shift that happened long ago. They will feel a moment of interest, but then they will go back to their own lives and change nothing. They believe the story has nothing to do with them, but you are not most people. You are a rational thinker. You are a student of systems, and you must see this story for what it truly is, a mirror. The innovator's dilemma is not a them. It is a metaphor for you, your own career, your own business, your own life. The same destructive forces that almost crippled the technology titan are at work in your own world right now. Are you, in your career or business, a victim of a flawed incentive system? Are your rewards tied to protecting an old way of doing things, or are they aligned with building a resilient long-term future? Are you so committed to serving your best customers that you are blind to a new low-end technology that is slowly but surely improving and will eventually displace you? Are you so focused on short-termism, the perfect quarterly report, on the immediate win, that you are systematically starving your own future to feed your present? Is your personal or professional identity so tied to a past success that you are trapped in a state of psychological denial, unable to make the painful but necessary pivot toward the future? This is the final brutal lesson of the innovator's dilemma. Its ultimate stumble was not about technology. It was about the profound challenge of human and organizational adaptation. It was about the courage to break free from self-imposed prisons built from past successes and deeply ingrained habits. So, this is the choice you face not once in a lifetime, but every single morning. Will you be an innovator who, in their overconfidence, forgets to listen to the new signals of change? Will you build a system that is as brittle as your own ego? Or will you have the intellectual humility to question your best customers, to resist the tyranny of short-term rewards, and to admit when a technology you once dismissed as a toy has become the new paradigm? Most people choose the comfort of the familiar. It's safe. It's what they know. But you must choose the harder, more uncomfortable path of relentless self-examination and courageous adaptation. It is the only path that leads to durable, long-term success and a life of genuine intellectual freedom in a world that never, ever stops changing. This disciplined commitment to adaptation to seeing reality as it is and not as you wish it were, is the ultimate goal of a worldly wise thinker. And helping you forge this very discipline is the core mission of my work here at ThinkLikeMunger. If this deep dive into the cautionary tale of the innovator's dilemma has provided you with value, please show your support by liking this video. To continue this journey with us, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell. You'll be joining a community of rational thinkers committed to a life of continuous learning. As always, check the description for a link to our free Top 5 Mental Models checklist. Now, I invite you to be intellectually honest. In the comments below, what is one disruptive innovation in your own industry that you might have previously dismissed as a toy, and what has changed your mind? Thank you for thinking with me.